Hello everybody and welcome to this garden update for May. Here we are. Here's the lavender. I had some of this lavender for the first time. I tried boiling it and I had like a little tea and it was quite nice. It made me very sleepy. But yes, everything is doing really well with the heat. I've been watering these trees. The field maple has started pushing out some new growth lately. See, maybe that. The sycamore is got no problems. It's growing more shoots this year than it did last year, I think, and currently isn't as tall as it got in the summer, but we're only in May. By August it's probably going to be very big. Here is the hydrangea, looking nice and leafy, flowers on the way. Those little, all of those what look like licorice all sorts in there. And here's that's a weed. It's a big weed. Here's the spirea, what it looks like. It's gone quite yellow. It's been getting a little bit burned. It's not so much a golden spirea now than it is a yellowy, greeny spirea, but it's got flowers already. It likes this position. It's already got flowers. Normally it's June or even July before this happens. But if I chop these flowers off, I'll probably get a second flush or even a third flush of flowers out of them. There's an alliums at the back there, I've just seen. Yes, punched its way through the plastic and the boards that I've got underneath here. It's, yes, they're very strong, thankfully. Here's these, the smoke bush has died back a bit on that side. That's from where I tried to air layer it about 4 years ago. The damage was no good. Here are all these trees. I'm not going to be continuing with these bonsais and tanukis and stuff. I've got a few there, but no, a little bit bored of it. I've got these Hebes though in the ground. I'm going to recycle all these any trees I lose. I'm going to put them back into the compost heap. Here's the acers. Yes, there they are. They're looking really nice. Yes, nice and strong. Got some cornflowers in here. I think most of them were over there near the hydrangea. There's the lilac with some more alliums. This lilac's growing. It's in a pot, it's not in the ground. I wouldn't plant it there. I'll move it before that happens. I put these Hebes in the ground. I don't know if this was in the last update, but they're in the ground now. Back where I used to have 4 Hebes that I put here in, I think February 21, early 2021 anyway. And then they were there for nearly 2 years until that winter 22 frost. Distant memory now with today's heat. But I've done a load of work. I've potted up all the Hebes that I had. I've potted those in massive pots. These are all my purple Hebes, which I first took as cuttings in July 2017. I think I have a video about my Hebe cuttings I made about 4 years ago nearly, or just over, on my channel. Those Hebes on the desk there are white Hebes, but these purple ones, they are magnificent plants. I'm going to probably take some more cuttings. Notice that one there, looks like I went nuts and it looks like it died, but if you look closely, it's starting again. And I might take a few more cuttings from these others because I don't actually have any. None of the cuttings from that survived, but I didn't have the greenhouse quite moist enough. Yeah, I've only got this this field maple here. Is doing really well. That's not a tanuki. That is an actual 22-year-old cutting. It was an actual cutting that I took loads and loads of these and just stuck them in soil in late 2024. I had them all in a greenhouse all over the place, and this one out of all of that lot actually took root, and is now in this big pot with its own root system, really doing well. Nice little field maple. The other one over there next to the sycamore is an air layering that I waited for roots to grow. Yes, these trees, these are all sycamores. They're tied in an old bit of wood like this to make the trunks more interesting. I've put, yeah, old bits of wood and tied them in, but I think some of them, I think that one there has collapsed or let go. They will eventually. I don't know what to do with them. Haven't got the heart to kill them. Here's the old runner beans. They are now growing nicely. I'm watering these early every morning. Unfortunately, the slugs come in here and keep attacking them, but I've got a theory of using sand. Put sand all over the place, especially where the plants are, and apparently they hate sand on them, or even dry dirt, anything that sticks to them like that. In here you've got the hostas from my dad. Thank you very much. And at the back there are spirea. Those spirea were all dying in my garden, but in here with lots of water they've all sprung back to life. That was a tiny little one. It's been in here with these and it has just grown beautifully. Yes, these are all my hostas. These are a mix of peppers and tomatoes. Unfortunately, with the tomatoes this year, mine are only really like that. It's probably one of my best ones. The peppers I'm doing a bit better. These are red chili jalapenos, and I've got some yellow bell peppers up there and some other little bits and pieces. Those are all just more of the same here. Those on the desk are orange bells, and I think those in the corner might be I think some of them are my old hybrids. So I had a load of peppers on the desk, the pallet bench behind this greenhouse last September or July to October, I think. I think September was the best video to look through, and you could see all the peppers. They were all mainly red ones with a few orange ones in there. So that's what all my old ones are. They're mostly, they're probably just Ramiro's with a little bit of bell and jalapeno. This side is more or less the same as the other. I do have over there lots of sedums, and yeah, the hanging baskets have got a few peppers, safe from the slugs, but also lots of heat as they like it. Down on the floor I've got lots of, what are these, beetroots. There's some beetroots, and I can see even in here the slugs, they find the runner beans, and the runner beans must have tasty leaves or something. Yeah, I've got some cuttings in here, lavender. I've got a runner bean there. Wow, that's grown just in one day. Yeah, reaching for the sky. I've even got some pepper seeds down here as well, and I've even put some onions. The base of the onion where you've got the roots, just to see if they actually grow into an onion plant, which would be quite interesting. This is the pallet bench that's currently empty. This is where I'm going to bring all of my peppers when I pot them up, and I've been scratching soil out of the compost heap. Yes, down here I didn't realise that this buddleia has actually died, and I tried to investigate why it died, and apparently through there that snapped right through the middle there, and I don't know how it snapped, but it snapped, and that killed the whole thing, and it is now dead. It is now gone bye-byes. But I cut out this little bit here just to prune it back, and I screwed it up into that beam, and I've hung these ropes off of it and old dog chains and such, and I've now got another place for the runner beans. I noticed these runner beans, they don't get attacked. Just having a quick look, they look like they've done all right. That one's come back. That one had a bit of transplant shock, but I've been watering it heavily and it looks fine. I've put some sacrificial runner beans down there so that they get nobbled and not my good ones. If Mr. Snail does decide he's going to attack. But my shoe's on patrol, so yes, you better watch out. I've got these. I've brought these. These are my first tanukis, which are just simple buddleia ones. But no, I don't think so. It's just like a archive. I built out of the... In this little spot here, I actually had a really big propagator. It disappeared. Some of you might have noticed if you've been watching. About last June or so, this disappeared. It collapsed, and I thought, all right, that's done. But I just kept all of these metal bits. You might recognize the green color. I just had it down under the desk with all these pots, and so I just got a coping saw and just chopped them to the same length as this one, and I've actually managed to get back now a second one of these little units here with a slightly bigger gap there because I didn't quite have enough of these plastic bits. But I can now put more little plants here if I want. I've also, I do have the darker levels occupied by these shade lovers. These don't like the sun on them. They absolutely hate them. They hate the sun. I had them in the sun on the pallet bench. Might have been in the last update. I had them sort of here. And that happens. Looks like I've bathed it in acid or something. They hate the sun. They really do. Goodness me, that side looks terrible. Even these stronger ones. Yeah, they've got this sort of orangey look about them. But anyway, that's the garden update for May. And here we are. I've got so many pots. I've put these old rags, old pair of trousers and stuff, hang them up here to stop these plant pots that are hiding from getting sun damaged. Try and make them last longer. And I've had a good clear out. Look at that space. Whoa, that was full of pots and bits and bobs before. I think I put some of it in here to make this shelf. So there we are, recycled. Thank you all for watching.